And we are live.
Okay, welcome everyone. Again, quick note, there might be some construction noises in the background as I'm getting started here. My name is Austin Sims. I'm going to start by reading our just some of the portions for the facilitator part here, and then we'll get started with everyone speaking, taking their turns. Okay. This is a public meeting of the Madison Area Arts Alliance Application Review Panel, convened to review and discuss the Indiana Arts Commission FY24 Arts Project Support Grant Program applications for Region 12. I am Austin Sims, located in Madison, Indiana, and today's review panel facilitator. Today is Thursday, May 4th, 2023, and we are meeting online and streaming live for applicants and the public to observe. There is no contact between the panel and the audience about the disposition of applicants before, during, or after the panel meeting. This meeting will be recorded and made available upon request. At this time, I will individually invite each of the panelists and staff to introduce themselves, stating their name, occupation, and where they are from in the state. So we'll just start with the panel. The first one that I see is Rita.
Hello, my name is Rita Height. I live in Lanesville, Indiana. I'm a retired junior high English teacher and drama director, and I am now working as an actress and a director, and I have been a recipient of this grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Okay, Anna.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anna Sutter. I am reporting to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, where I've resided for about 12 years. I am from Madison, Indiana. I currently serve as the Director of Program Management for Fight for Life Foundation, which is a nonprofit tech organization run by former Indianapolis Colt, Marlon Jackson. I always love to mention that. But in my past life, I was the Director of School Counseling for a junior high here on the south side of Indianapolis, where I served for about 5 years until I transferred over to the nonprofit and tech world. So I'm happy to be here today, and I'm looking forward to hearing all of the wonderful comments from our panelists.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Up next, Laura.
Hi, my name is Laura Judson, and I am coming to you from Bloomington, Indiana. I am currently the Assistant Director for the East Asian Studies Center at IU. Prior to that, I spent about 15 years as a freelance stage manager, primarily in opera, as well as theater and dance, and had about 5 years as the project manager for IU Theater and Dance.
Wonderful. Thank you. Stephanie.
I'm Stephanie Seaborn. I am in Columbus, Indiana, and I am currently the finance director at the Heritage Fund Community Foundation in Bartholomew County.
Great, thank you. Natalie?
Hi, I'm Natalie Almanza. I'm tuning in from Bloomington, Indiana, and I work at the IU Arts and Humanities Council as a program coordinator. And outside of that, I'm the chair of public art for the Bloomington Arts Commission.
Okay, thank you. Marcus?
Hi there, thanks for having me. My name is Marcus Wiebel. I'm reporting to you from Bloomington, Indiana, and currently I'm an arts administration graduate student down here at IUB.
Thank you, Marcus. Now I'll move on to staff. Eric?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eric Ashby, Grants and Research Manager for the Indiana Arts Commission, running all the tech things today and coming to you from Bloomington.
Thank you. Paige?
Hi, everybody. I'm Paige Sharp. I'm Deputy Director of Programs for the Indiana Arts Commission, and I'm here to oversee the process as well as provide any policy clarification if needed.
Wonderful. And I believe Alex is the last.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Helton, and I am the Regional Services Manager for the Madison Area Arts Alliance, and I'm coming to you today from Madison, Indiana.
Great, thank you. Did we miss anyone on the panel or staff? Okay, thank you, everyone. Now we will go ahead and begin with the panel review, and this is how the process will work. I will announce the application. We will review and ask the first reader to begin the discussion. The first reader will provide their assessment of the application based upon the evaluation criteria and their perspective. Panelists, please note that the applications do not need to be recapped since everyone has read it. Just provide your comments and then we'll move on. After the first reader is finished, I will ask the second reader to present any new or additional or opposing comments. We are not looking for a consensus here, just a full evaluation from the different perspectives panelists bring to this table. After the second reader has finished, I will open the discussion for final comments. And then just remember, in the interest of time, we are only looking for new or additional or opposing viewpoints as we have discussion. If a panelist has a conflict of interest, the panelists will be placed in the virtual waiting room while the application is reviewed. However, it looks like there should not be any conflicts of interest for this particular panel with this particular set of applicants. And then finally, once the application has been reviewed by the full panel, we ask that the panel to update their scores in the online system. It is common for scores to change as a result of this broader discussion that we're going to have here today. And then these scores save automatically. Are there any questions so far? No? Okay. Awesome. Well, deep breath in, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay. So today we'll start with the application from Charlestown-Clark County Public Library. We're going to go in alphabetical order throughout the list here. So our first reader is Rita.
Hello, Charlestown Library, artistic quality. The overall concept for the Charlestown Library project is exciting and will be beneficial to the community it serves. It might be helpful if each of the programs offered would be open to every age group. For instance, teens may benefit from and enjoy the storytelling offering, and young children might prefer adventure into the art of the unknown. Artistic support. The Charlestown-Clark County Public Library project plans to offer a variety of artistic disciplines to a wide variety of age groups for small children to seniors. The purpose and activities are proposed are clear. The artists within different artistic disciplines will benefit financially, and the populations that participate will receive quality enrichment. Community engagement, inclusion, diversity, equity, and access. Input from the community and the successes of past programs has been incorporated. Participants of varying economic backgrounds and those with disabilities will have appropriate accommodations, allowing them to fully participate and enjoy the workshops being offered. Marketing materials are inviting and the budget is balanced and reasonable. The Facebook page was unavailable at this reading. The success of this year's project will be measured with input from the staff, feedback from the participants, evaluations and surveys of those who participated in various capacities. Project management. The budget is well thought out and presented in detail. The amount each instructor will receive per session and the number of sessions each instructor will lead is itemized. Charlestown, in summation, Charlestown Library's 48 years of experience providing these programs has afforded them great experience for honing and perfecting the quality of artistic service to their community. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rita. Thank you for getting us started too. We will go ahead and move on to the second reader, Stephanie.
Rita, I agree with all of that. The only thing that I would add is under artist support, it appeared that a portion of the educators are from Kentucky. They're Kentucky based. So an extended explanation of their process to choose the artists might help clarify why they're choosing artists outside of Indiana, possible logistics, artist expertise in the chosen disciplines, just some sort of clarification on why non-Indiana artists were chosen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Any other new or opposing comments to add? All right. Please finalize your scores and update your online comments. Just let me know if you need more time. And then just give me a thumbs up whenever you all have completed this portion. And all right, I think we're all ready to go to the next one. Okay. We will now start with applicant number 2, the Historical Society of Harrison County, and our first reader is Laura.
Thank you. I thought this was a really interesting application. The curation of the various offerings for the project. One of my big questions for the applicant is how the choices were made for a quilt show and a jazz performance and restoring a bread bowl. What prompted these choices to be the ones that were part of the project? So I would be interested in hearing more about that. As far as artist support goes, I am interested in knowing how the applicant arrived at specific compensation amounts. For instance, describing a restoration project as painstaking for a local community member makes me wonder about that decision-making process. And I'm also interested to know a little bit more specifically the breakdown. For instance, the jazz group, there is a honorarium for the group, but how is that being divided amongst the band members? As far as DEIA goes, I would love to see some more specific examples of how the Historical Society can address IDEA barriers. Some references were made to fully accessible opportunities and ADA compliance, but I am interested in the identifying of the spaces being used and how that might affect the project. I thought that the marketing materials provided were reflective of the portion of the audience that you seek to serve, but I would be interested in seeing more variety in the examples provided. As far as project management goes, it's very clear that the project manager is experienced to carry out this event. It would be helpful to know a little bit more about the volunteer makeup and how many volunteers are involved, and if there are any other elements that you anticipate utilizing for which events beyond setting up and striking those events. Will any of your events require any additional technical support or management? And as far as project timeline goes, I would be interested in seeing a few more internal deadlines in there as well, as just to know what are the checks and balances along your process. But overall, I thought this was a really fascinating project, and I really appreciated the amount of detail in a lot of your descriptions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Laura. Second reader, Natalie.
Hi, yeah, I agree with everything that Laura said. I would also like to add, and just a little, I would like some clarification from this application, just in terms of it being stated that it was an exhibit. And I would just like to hear from the applicant a little more clarification on how this would culminate in an exhibit, because it seemed to be more of a group of programs that were all, again, very interesting and cool, but would just like to know how the exhibit factor plays into that. And also echoing what Laura said, I would like to know how the community influenced the programs that were chosen to move forward in here, and also adding that, yes, I would like to see a bit more of a firm timeline with, some of those hard deadlines that kind of that are able to kind of outline the impact of the project more and kind of show some of those firm dates that they're working towards rather than the loose one that's provided here. But again, very interesting proposal and project. And yeah, I think that's all that I'll add for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. Please go ahead and finalize your scores and update any of your online comments. And then same thing, just give me a thumbs up when you're finished with this portion. Did I see Natalie thumbs up from you? Or I'm sorry, Rita. Okay, great. Next, we have Lanesville Community School Corporation, and our first speaker is Marcus.
Yeah, thank you again for that. So I'm just going to break it down into the three main categories that we're focusing on. For artistic benefit and artistic support, I felt that the goals were clearly laid out, informative, and generally pretty thorough. I also felt like there was a really nice job being done with listing out exactly what responsibilities each artist had with the entire project. I did feel, however, that one of the criterion was focusing on how, like, since it's a recurring project, how you're informed by earlier years in the project. I felt like that could have been expanded on a little bit more. And then the next section is the IDA section. I felt like there was a decent amount of room to expand more heavily on what communities they'll necessarily serve. I felt like that was a little bit vague and light. Explain this beyond teachers and students. That's kind of inherent. We know that it's going to serve those communities, but just in general, expand a little bit more beyond that. I felt like the next tenet was that it was developed really well, considering the community and the students that it was going to be working with. But all in all, I just felt like the idea strategies were generally a little bit light, and measuring the impact of that was also a little bit vague too. The marketing and participation items were really excellent. However, I just felt like it didn't touch as much on underserved communities as we would have liked in the criteria. And then for the final items, project management and staffing components, I felt that the staffing components could go into a little bit more detail, specifically focusing on the artists who are helping convey the entire project. I also felt that the timeline was just a little bit vague, just explain a little bit more, like when are things happening, what's the planning, just a little bit breakdown into the exact schedule of how everything is going to occur. I felt that the budget was super, although. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Marcus. Okay, our second reader, Anna, do you have any additional comments or opposing comments?
Yeah, so I agree with the majority of what Marcus articulated. You did such a good job. I will say I want to praise this applicant for trying to think of a creative way to meet the needs of multiple students at once and multiple needs in the community at once. I do want to add that I would have loved to see, it was very clear that the community was considered in this, but I would love to see more of a surveying or even a committee to plan this project, especially since it's reoccurring over the years. Sometimes it can get easy to stay either complacent or not think outside the box when you start getting those reoccurrence over and over and over again. So how you can get creative ideas and creative minds in the process for planning would be my only piece of feedback.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Any other comments or additional opposing thoughts or other comments? All right, then please go ahead and finalize your scores and update your online comments. And same thing, give me a thumbs up when you've completed that. All right, great. Up next, we have Madison Performing Arts Foundation. And our first reader is Rita.
Yes. Madison Performing Arts Foundation, artistic quality. The selection of artists from different cultural and musical styles and disciplines is excellent. The description of the project is quite detailed and well thought out, and the examples support the high quality of this project. Artistic support. The selection of artists and the compensation is present. Their talents and skills are well documented, and they will provide a wide range of musical experience for Indiana residents. It is not clear to me, however, if the artists themselves are all from Indiana. Community engagement, inclusion, diversity, and equity and access. A description of how underserved communities can benefit is clear. Accommodations for people with disabilities is included. The process of artist and program selection includes a wide variety of community members, both artists and audience. Promotional and marketing materials are professional and inviting. The measures of program evaluation that are mentioned provide evidence of a successful project and how this project has grown throughout the years. I was glad to see that the addition of surveys this year will make the evaluation more measurable and pave the way for future plans. Project management. The Madison Performing Arts Foundation is well organized and well staffed. Explanations of how this project will be managed are clear, and the budget is well outlined and reasonable. The musical offerings are excellent and show thought to including different musical styles and cultural diversity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rita. Second reader, Natalie.
Hi. I echo everything that Rita said. I strongly agree with all of the points there. I'd only add that I also felt like there was a strong understanding of those economic barriers and the idea strategies. So I loved seeing that. But also, if possible, I would like to see maybe a little more of a stronger social media presence with some of these. I did think that the website was great. And also, they provided a very detailed staff list and timeline with extensive information. So I really appreciated seeing all of that. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Any other additional or opposing comments to add?
I would just like to add that I commend this application. It was really impressive that they were able to dedicate the bulk of their budget directly to the artists. And that they're also providing support to local artists who donate their time and talent to the community. Thanks.
Okay, any others? All right, thank you, everyone. Please go ahead and finalize your scores and update your online comments. And then same thing, give me a thumbs up to let me know that you've completed that or if you need more time. Okay, great. Up next, we have North Harrison Band Boosters, and our first reader is Laura.
Thank you. I thought the goal and intention for this project is very clear and supported by the audiovisual evidence that the applicant provided. I would be interested in seeing a little bit more about, since this this project has happened for multiple years, what the inclusion of past instructors named, and if there's any intention to engage the services, the same instructors, similar instructors, alternative instructors, how your past experience with this project has influenced future decisions. And I thought it was interesting as well. From my perspective, it seems like there is the intended audience for this project is also the students involved in the project. And I felt that there was a lean in the application more towards the perceived external audience attending the concerts and competitions, whereas I would love to see a little bit more focus on the students and the meaningful and impactful elements of this project for them also as artists. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to think about. As far as artist support goes, it took me a little bit of navigating in the description to discern which of the named staff members listed would be the direct recipients of the budgeted salary. And so given the duration of this project, I'm also curious to know if this honorarium is the full extent of their income, or if these are also artists employed by the school at the same time. How is that delineated? Is this a significant amount of support for them, or is this a limited support within the high school system? As far as DEIA goes, the program clearly serves a student community with a need for a creative performance outlet, and as well as an opportunity for the greater community to attend and experience this creative performance without a cost barrier. I thought that was fantastic. The applicant clearly lays out the methods of communication currently in place, but I'm interested if there are ways, if you could provide more examples of ways in which members of the band boosters have actively encouraged attendance at monthly town hall meetings, and is access taken into consideration given the time that meetings are held, are parents' work hours taken into consideration, and can you provide any examples of how student input has affected the growth of the program? As far as project management goes, I thought that this was a very clear outline. I would be interested in seeing a more comprehensive timeline that includes contract engagement dates for the artists. Do they need prep time, etc. And potentially an understanding as well of how often, how frequently the groups rehearse, and where do the membership fees come from? That was a little unclear to me. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And we will move on to Anna, second speaker. Did I miss a name?
So can you, sorry, I do not have that. I'm on the second speaker on my list. I apologize. Was this for
North Harrison Band Boosters, correct?
North Harrison Band Boosters. Okay, I apologize. Let me get that. I had my other one open.
Okay, we are doing well.
Thanks, guys.
This discussion.
I appreciate the grace here. Was not okay. North Harrison Band Boosters. Let me pull it up. I had my other one open and ready to go, so I was ahead of the game here. All right, so to further Laura's comments, I do agree with her on the things that she mentioned. Similarly to others, I think that this project in general did a great job about finding a creative solution to multiple problems at once. I do think that the IDEA section was strong in regards to how it serves underserved communities. I would have liked to see a little bit more in regards to the measuring of impact. I think that you guys did a great job of describing the informal way to collect feedback, but having more of a formal process to collect that qualitative and quantitative data to help just with the impact reporting of the project would be beneficial. And then agreed with that timeline. I would have appreciated a little bit more detail in regards to what that breakup would look like. So instead of going by monthly, having more of a timeline window, but I agree. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Any other additional comments or opposing comments to add to these? Okay, same as before, go ahead and finalize your scores and update your online comments and give me a thumbs up when you've completed those and we will move on. All right. Up next, we have Oak Heritage Conservancy, and our first reader is Natalie.
Great. So I thought this was a great concept that linked art and eco-justice efforts. The photo contest aspect of this has a really low barrier for entry for folks to engage in the arts and to kind of engage in this way with this organization as well. And just I thought that was really a really powerful idea, and the quality of work that they provided and showed from years past. I know this is not the first iteration of this. It's just really high quality of work and really awesome to see the range of submissions that they had, given that this is stated in their application a few times that it really leans towards amateur photographers, but you wouldn't think that looking at the samples of work that were provided. I also really appreciate the acknowledgement of seeking help to engage outside of their organization's usual audience base through the arts and making this connection with folks through the arts. I know that they listed in there for how many other artists will benefit from this project. They didn't quite give an estimate for that, but I'd argue that there's multiple artists that would benefit from this, even folks who are budding artists or not necessarily considering themselves an artist. The outcome, which is a mounted photo, if they're for like, I believe the top 20 folks, like that to me is just this really great entrance into the arts in this way. So I would maybe ask them to reevaluate that number, considering or adding to the number based on how many entries they get. And then something that was really impressive about this application in my mind was the very detailed outline of each point and idea. They went through and stated something for each of the points and idea. And I thought that was really great. They just know their audience and they know how to connect and they know the limitations and the barriers of entry with the arts in this way, but they have a really great plan for kind of breaking down those barriers. And since this is not the first time this has happened, I know they have a very detailed timeline, detailed staffing plan, and a budget. All of that was impressive. And it seems like they definitely have this under control. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. And our second reader is Marcus.
Yeah, so Natalie did a great job covering just about everything I had, all the feelings I had regarding the application as well. The only things I want to point out are like commendable points. So I really appreciate it in the beginning section when they, in the IDEA section, when they talked about what communities they're going to serve exactly. They also gave a really good explanation as to why they're doing it. That's important, and that's really significant to talk about exactly why you're doing something like this. It kind of prevents it from being hollow. It kind of actually creates a foundation for that. And I also appreciated like the artist take on it in the IDEA section as well. Like they actually like want the artists and the photographers to be basically like help inform the entire project. And I appreciated that. Beyond what Natalie said, I don't have any other additions. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Any other additional comments or opposing comments to add here? Laura?
Yeah, I just had one question. I agree with the other panelists so far as well, but I had one clarification question about the budget and the cash expenses, because they state a certain amount of money for Oak Heritage Conservancy personnel costs to coordinate program, and I would be curious to know how they arrived at that number and what the breakdown of that is.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Rita, you had your hand up as well.
Yes, once this project has been going on for several years, it would be interesting to track some of these participants and see how they have gone on with their journey in this realm of photography. Once they have won or even participate, does this spur them on to more photography? Do they become professionals? Just some continuing history with people that have participated. Thank you.
Anna, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I agreed with everybody that vocalized their feedback so far. Something that I noted is that I would have liked to see some more consideration into the grand prize winners for the cash prizes in the budget. While the $50 is fantastic, I think it's phenomenal. I do want to consider maybe increasing that to meet similarly to other prizes throughout the state. I think it's hard when you set up artists with a low prize or a lower prize compared to other competitions. I think sometimes that can have artists kind of lowering their worth a little bit more and maybe making this a little bit more competitive. And I would be open to feedback from the rest of the panelists on this one, but I do know that $50 reward seemed a little low for me. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other additional comments? Okay, thank you all. Like usual, please go ahead and finalize your scores and update your online comments. And let me know if you need more time. If you're finished, give that thumbs up. Okay, we only have a few more. Up next, we have Ohio Valley Folk Society, and our first reader is Stephanie.
Okay, so we'll start off with the artistic quality and artist support. I thought this was a great reboot of a well-loved and community-supported event. The goals of the project are very clear. The organization definitely took information from past experiences from the former group's project to inform their choices on the current project. I thought that they showed great self-evaluation in taking a more scaled back approach to the previous festival in order to provide the best quality experience as they take this project forward. And then for the community engagement and IDEA, I think that one of the only ways to improve this portion for them of the application would be to detail the process by which they seek to measure the project's impact, in addition to the attendance of both the free and the paid portion of the event. Maybe some possible input from surrounding businesses regarding their sales and patron statistics during the event. And they could probably benefit from collaboration with downtown development groups to quantify the wins and the fails of the project. As far as project management goes, I think that the project benefits from strong board engagement. That's always really important. If you can get your main stakeholders involved, that just demonstrates the high probability of a successful project. So that is all I have for this one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. And our second reader, Laura.
Thank you. I agree with what Stephanie said and want to add just a couple of points. My first thought was in thinking about artist support, and the budgeted amount for compensation listed for all 18 total artists was $7,000, which I don't know how that's split out amongst the artists, but that did seem a little low to me for 18 artists listed. But I did really appreciate that the Indiana artists have the opportunity to perform and showcase their talents. So that was number one. In the DEIA section, I was interested to know more about how you arrived at your, you even note in the application conservative estimates. And so where did those numbers come from? I didn't see a clear mathematical equation for how you got to those numbers. And so I would love to know how you got there. And my only other comment, in the project management section, it's clear that the board, I have no doubt that they will be effective in executing the event, but I would be interested in knowing more about any labor or staff resources that might be engaged beyond the board members, or if the board is the entirety of staffing for the event and how that is delineated. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Laura, for those comments. Any other additional questions or comments to add here? Okay, thank you, everyone. Go ahead and same thing, finalize your scores, update your online comments, and then please let me know if you need more time or thumbs up once you've completed that. Okay, thank you, everyone. Moving right along here. Up next, Scottsburg Band Parent Association, and our first reader is Marcus.
Yeah, thank you again. So just like last time, I'm going to break it up into 3 main categories. So for the first one, artist benefit and support, I felt that there was a very good presentation of information without becoming too verbose or flowery. I felt like everything was really thorough, especially in considering how the project is going to impact audiences in the area. There was also a really excellent use of past year's experiences. This is a 46-year-old project, so I appreciated that. For the next section, the IDEA section, I felt that there was a good breakdown on served communities, just a little bit more hinge on exactly how the underserved communities will be served, and like give us a little bit of identity of who those individuals are going to be, what communities that's going to be exactly. But other than that, really good. I also felt that there was really good context on county demographic info. They know who they need to serve, just like give us a little bit more. And there was also a nice breakdown on how students are benefited and also how students are included in this project as well. Their methods of surveying impact, I felt, were also really effective. They included talking about surveys and also just sheer attendance and student participation as good metrics too. So I feel like there were like 2 parts to that. And then for the last section, project management, I felt that the staffing was really like well thought out and great. You thoroughly list who exactly is going to be involved in the project, what their expertise is. You give a lot of individual names, as well as their positions, and also how they'll be helping. Some of them just had positions and names. Maybe give us a little bit more explanation of what each person is going to be doing in the exact project. And I also enjoyed the weekly breakdown. That was really well thought out. Again, 46 years of experience with this project. That kind of makes sense. So I thought that was well thought out. And I also particularly thought it was a really nice budget section. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marcus. And our second reader is Rita.
Yes, I agree with Marcus. It was well thought out. I would be interested to see some more examples. I noticed they said they had difficulty uploading the examples to the website, and it would have been interesting to hear selections played by the band and seen some of the choreography that they discuss in their grant. I appreciated all the detail that they put into it, and it looks like it's going to be a good experience for both audience and students combined. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. And any additional comments or opposing comments? Laura?
Thank you. I agree with both Marcus and Rita. I wanted to offer one small piece of constructive criticism for future applications. There was a note in the artistic quality that referenced how artists are very talented, and I would be very interested in learning more about what makes them talented rather than being told they're very talented. Can you offer any evidentiary examples of their skill in your narrative? So I wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Laura. Any other additional comments? Okay, thank you, everyone. As usual, finalize your scores and update your online comments. Let me know if you need more time or thumbs up if you're completed. Great job. Up next, Stillwater Individual and Therapy Services Incorporated, and our first reader is Anna.
Hi, I'm prepared for this one. There you go. So I think the applicant did a great job of kind of tackling multiple birds with one stone. This project was a crossover between a mental health intervention, art education, and community beautification. I think that the applicant did a great job of being innovative and creative and thinking of not only the needs of the clients they serve, but also the community at large, how they can help improve the community. I loved the tie-in of community beautification. I think, and I say that in a professional stance as well, I think considering the community's input on this project is fantastic. I think that I would have loved to see more focus on the outcomes of this project. I think that the goals were somewhat clear. However, I think the outcomes and the metrics that they were trying to report on were unclear for me. As far as artist support goes, the applicant did a great job of sharing how the educator who would be doing the art instruction would play a part in this role. However, I would have liked to see a little bit more of what are the specific art criteria standards or art education standards that you would want your clients to access or have knowledge on. As far as the project, I know that this has been done in other communities, so a great way to further your knowledge on this would be to include examples of how this looked like in other communities, since this is the first year for this project for this organization. I think that the organization did a great job of describing exactly how this serves underserved communities, not only financially, but just access to these types of opportunities within the community. They took into consideration marginalized communities like LGBTQ community members and how this would help them as well. As far as marketing goes, I think they did a great job, a great start of showing marketing for this type of project. I would have liked to see something a little bit more thought out in detail and planned out for this submission of this grant. My question for this organization would be kind of around how they got their numbers for impact. I saw some differing responses for numbers for impact, so I just need some clarity around that. And as far as project management goes, again, this is a phenomenal idea, phenomenal project idea, but it seems like we're just in the brainstorming process for this, which is phenomenal. I would have liked to see a little bit more thought out process regarding the timeline and how the roles are broken up. It was still unclear to me kind of the length of the project, how long this would be occurring, the length of the curriculum, what it would look like in actual programming, and I would have liked to see some clarification with that, but I appreciate it, and I think this is a phenomenal project.
Thank you, Anna. Stephanie?
I agree 100% with everything Anna said, and I have nothing to add. Thanks.
I apologize for the noise, everyone. Any other additional comments or additional opposing comments? Great. Okay, go ahead and finalize your scores, update your online comments, and thumbs up if you're finished, or let me know. All right, that was everyone, correct? All right, this concludes the FY24 Arts Project Support for Region 12 panel. Applicants will be notified of the status of their grant following the June commission meeting. If you have any questions, please contact the regional arts partner, Alex Helton. Thank you all. Thank you all for your time today as well. Talk to you soon.